What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is Awesome. I'm broadcast coming to you live from gloomy, foggy, stolen land in sunny California. We are sitting on stolen land here, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is Saturday. That's right, folks. Another moment for Woke is back. Woke 2.0. Anthony Joshua beat the doors off of Jake Paul. Obviously, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news, and that's precisely what I did last night with my dad and everyone else that was at my house. I tuned in to Netflix, and I straight up watched Jake Paul get annihilated by the behemoth himself. Anthony Joshua, two-time heavyweight champion, belt holder, gave the fucking belt to ass, basically, with Jake Paul. Obviously, for boxing enjoyers, it was disastrous. It was a disastrous performance because it looked sad. It looked like a sad state of affairs. You have Anthony Joshua, the man with the legendary uppercut. Anthony Joshua at some point was like, one of the most famous boxers on the planet, one of the most famous athletes on the planet, and heavyweight belt holder, heavyweight unified world heavyweight championship winner from 2017 to 2019, then 2019 to 2021. Has this long ass career, 36 years old. From the fucking UK, yeah. He's 6'6", 245 pounds. He's a psycho, right? Only had 4 losses in his entire career. And it's wild to me that this was even a thing that Jake Paul would have attempted. Like, it's just the hubris. Like, this is a gold medalist boxer. You're out of your freaking mind, right? Like, this is a real boxer who isn't super far out from his career peak, right? Yeah, he's not at his peak, but he's not super far out. He's not like 50. He's not 40 or even older than that. It's not Mike Tyson, right? You're fighting a guy who's 36 years old who until recently held the belt for heavyweight champion. And it's crazy because like Jake Paul doesn't have the reach. Jake Paul doesn't have the weight. And Jake Paul doesn't have the skill, so it doesn't make any damn sense that he would even try to attempt such a thing. And I think like maybe if it wasn't Anthony Joshua and the size disparity, the reach disparity, the skill gap wasn't so severe, he could have potentially tried to like wear down his opponent and potentially make him annoyed enough to open up. Cause like there was a point where Anthony Joshua for the first 5 rounds is like pretty restrained. He's very restrained. So much so that it almost feels like there was a contractual obligation or something. I'm not going to be like a scripter here. I'm not going to say that it was scripted or anything like that, but it did feel to me like he was just like testing it, He was just like opening up a little bit, weighing the distance with his left, some jabs, jab, really restrained and keeping up his pacing, keeping up his breathing. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is sitting across from him. And now this is an incredibly impressive feat as well. The fact that like Jake Paul even put himself out there with a Titan like Anthony Joshua is impressive. If you're willing to get your ass beat, you're willing to get your ass beat. There's nothing to it. And he did, right? And it's crazy because like he was just running around. He was running around the entire fucking ring. And there were a couple moments where he did actually have a couple decent dodges. Jake Paul did. But ego takes you only so far. I guess it was the shit ton of money that he was making off of this event that was the reason why he was doing it, along with the ego. I guess his technique was to just like really piss off Anthony Joshua. I guess it was his goal was to just like annoy him, survive as many rounds as he possibly can, annoy the fuck out of him to a degree where like he just drops his guard and then he can get a couple sneak hits on it. And it almost worked. Like rage baiting your opponent to that degree almost worked because he did have a couple moments, but because he was so fucking fat and so worn out. And those 3-minute rounds are devastating, especially if you're, again, sitting in front of a fucking monster who's sitting at 6'6", 245 245 pounds. There were a couple moments where he did actually get a couple decent hits on Anthony Joshua. But one of the funniest things I saw in the fight was Jake Paul, I think it was in the 5th round or something. He actually gets a pretty solid hit on Anthony Joshua. What's crazy about it is he ate it. AJ ate it and it was nothing. Like, he ate the hit and it wasn't even like oh no, I got hit. Like, there was no, it immediately connected with Jake Paul. Like, immediately, like, didn't even brush it off. Just went, boom, and then boom. It was so fucking crazy to me. And I think it was probably because at that point, Jake Paul was dying. I mean, his technique was pretty obvious, run around, try to make up for the reach disparity by annoying him and causing him to drop his guard at some point so you can get a couple sneak hits. It didn't work because the first 5 rounds, Anthony Joshua was very restrained and consistently kept the distance and was like trying to land some normal hits from afar, trying to find an opening with a right uppercut at any point. He didn't really have any opportunities for that. I mean, because Jake Paul did not have the necessary cardio to be able to keep up with him like that, obviously, he just kept diving and he kept clinching over and over again with the goal of regaining his breath. He just kept fucking clinching up every single time. And it was so obvious that he was just like clinching off for dear life because he was just gassed. He was so fucking gassed. Even from the first round, it was obvious that was what he was going for. Yeah, this is the funniest thing. Like, he posted this shit, right? He posted this shit, except what came immediately after this direct hit was an unfazed Anthony Joshua immediately landing a right, shrinking Jake Paul's already tiny brain ever more. I could not believe it. I was like, damn, he actually did get a couple. But like, Anthony Joshua ate that like it was a tickle, dude. It was crazy. And Jake Paul already has like 3 fucking neurons left up there, and he just eradicated the remaining 3 neurons. Is wild. I assume Jake Paul's brain is now smaller than the size of a walnut, smoother than chicken breasts. Yeah, his ass got no folds left, bro. He just fucking, Anthony Joshua cleaned out the remaining folds that he had up there, just flattened it out. The remaining wrinkles up there are gone. Doctors at the end of the day are going to look at Jake Paul's brain as like the biggest victim of CTE of all time. Yeah, it wasn't like great to watch from a technical boxing perspective, and I totally understand that. If you're like a fan of good boxing or whatever, of course you're not gonna appreciate this fight because it doesn't feel like a fight at all. But it was it was fun specifically because it's Jake Paul and he's a villain and he's getting his fucking ass beat. That was fun for me. I watched it for that reason, because I watched it going in, and I think a lot of people had the same opinion, right? Where I suspect you guys were all thinking the same thing I was thinking, where it's like, this is scripted, right? Like, they're going to do like $100 million play here. Anthony Joshua is going to disappoint by, taking a dive or something. Maybe like, I don't know. I just never think that Jake Paul is actually going to do an honest fight, right? I don't think that was going to happen, right? One thing people need to realize is that Jake is not a YouTuber. He's a boxer. He's been training for 7 full years. To put that into perspective, Joshua became world champion 8 years after he started training. No, Jake Paul is a fucking YouTuber still at this point. Because just because someone has been training boxing for 7 years doesn't mean that they're actually a skilled boxer. That's the difference between someone who might not be at his prime, but is still like very clearly a world title holder versus Jake fucking Paul, who's been training for 7 years. There are plenty of people who I think in the professional sphere that if they also tried to like find themselves in a comparable weight class to Anthony Joshua with a tremendous reach disadvantage, who are professional boxers who've been boxing for like 7 years, who'd probably still get the fucking doors knocked off of them. 7 years of training don't mean shit if you're 7 years of ass. It's only significant for someone like myself. Like, I would not be able to fight any of these people, okay? Jake Paul, probably a much better boxer than me, right? but I'm not a boxer. So if you're trying to make a name for yourself as like, in the boxing world, and you're just consistently beating people that are way, way past the point of their prime, like super fucking old, yeah, no shit. Eventually, you're going to run into a person who's going to whoop your ass. Yeah, he's never risen up the ranks. He used his YouTube fame to fight a bunch of people with clout who aren't boxers to get his name out there. And then he started fighting people who were like boxing legends as well, and then really piss people off. This is what happens when you go up against one of the best in the world, like literally one of the best in the world. And not only is it one of the best in the world, but one of the best in the world, and also outside of your weight class. It's so crazy. It's such a crazy moment. But yeah, he clinched so many fucking times to regain his breath. Like, wild stat, Jake Paul shot 13 takedown attempts against Anthony Joshua while landing 16 total punches. A boxing record that will absolutely never be broken. Takedown attempt number 9 seemed to be when AJ finally had enough. I mean, he wasn't trying to do takedown attempts. Like obviously the MMA Twitter is obviously making jokes because like he was so desperate, but it was clear that it was like he was so gassed that he would just try to constantly regain his breath by clinching over and over and over and over again. Yeah, then he tried to claim that this was a nut shot too, I think. Or was it this one that he said it was a nut shot? Yeah, it was also a bigger boxing ring as well, so that Jake could use that to his advantage by having more space to run around. Except when you're so fucking gassed by round 2, it don't even matter. You're still getting backed into a corner because you're pacing yourself out because the opponent is not even treating this like a fight. Anthony Joshua is literally walking, is just walking. He has so much fucking distance. I mean, he can cover so much more distance with his reach, and he can keep up his pace in a very, like, he can basically dictate the speed of this fight because Jake Paul is the one who has to try extra hard to run around. So, to give credit to Jake Paul, the fact that he was even capable of sitting in the ring with a monster like Anthony Joshua, respect. I think it's really fucking annoying that, I mean, there is this like WWE-ification of boxing. So I assume that like the fans of the sport will get really annoyed with Jake Paul, but everyone hates Jake Paul. Like, there's something here for everybody, because it's like we watch it and we're like, oh, thank God he's getting his fucking ass whooped. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, finally. Especially when he like would put himself around legendary characters that are way past their prime by dangling a shit ton of fucking a shit ton of money in front of them, like, putting just like exploiting the like former symbols, right? Former symbols of boxing, shit like that. It's very frustrating to see, and I totally understand that. Even though I myself am not like a fan of the sport or a fan of the professional sport in general. Did the guy knock Jake out? He didn't have like a full blown knockout, like in the way that Jake was like frazzled. But yeah, he did knock him out. Double broken jaw. Look, first 5 rounds, Anthony Joshua was just like not really opening up at all. But I think there was a point where Jake Paul actually did take advantage of him trying to punch and then land one right here. And I think after that, it was over. Like, because the 5th round, you see like an attitude shift. You see an attitude shift from Anthony Joshua where he's like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I need to. He's tried to clench up every time I fucking hit him. So I think what he was going for, I suspect, was anytime Jake would just drop his guard and try to duck another one of his like jabs, or when he was doing a combo, I think he was trying to hit him with a fucking right uppercut while Jake was on the way down, trying to dodge. But that never happened. If he had done that, he would have fucking killed him, I think. That's what it felt like to me watching from afar, that he was like trying to go for trying to hit him with an uppercut while Jake was going down after a combo. And he could have killed him there. He could have killed him there, but he did not do that. But he did actually destroy the fuck out of Jake Paul's jaw. There's an x-ray, broke it in 2 different places. So congratulations, Jake Paul is going to shut the fuck up for once. Was very disappointed Jake wasn't rolled out. I mean, this was embarrassing. Even if you're not like a super big boxing fan, you watched a villain of the internet, a villain of society, run around on his hands and knees, basically begging not to get his ass beat by this behemoth of a man who ended up beating the fucking doors off of him. Are you kidding me? He still made a bag, but you know, that's how it goes. I like to think that this is, this is the moment where Jake landed a hit and then immediately ate it.
Not taking those punches very well, but that punch right there from Jake Paul was the cleanest shot.
People should walk away with 3 things I've seen in the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. All the cryptocurrency dildos are just like trying to find a way to make this seem favorable to Jake Paul. Jake Paul's one of the toughest boxers in modern history. No, he's not. Like, what the fuck? What are we? Why would he be one of the toughest boxers in modern history? I don't know shit about boxing, and even I know that's not the case. Like, that's such an insane thing to say. What a crazy statement. Yeah, for a random guy off the street, sure. Yeah, it's impressive if it's like a dude who's never trained, who put himself in a serious competition with a world-class, world champion boxer, but he's at this point, he's trying to make a name for himself as like a career boxer. It's just not gonna work. Be careful, he's gonna challenge you next. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking fight Jake Paul, dude. I don't have 7 years of boxing training and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, you can beat my ass. Okay, I don't give a fuck. I know where my skills lie, okay? Every 14 years old, we're like, oh, you could beat him. Okay, sure. I think woke is back. I think that's what took place here. Because like Anthony Joshua, for the ball knowers, is considered an anti-white racist or a black supremacist racist as well. So like that makes this fight even funnier. And obviously Jake Paul is like MAGA. I think there was a point where he said something about like a black boxer where he was like, this was disrespectful to the supreme black race or something. He just said something like that. He said something along those lines, and then people were like, you're being fucking racist. You're being fucking racist. Oh, the other thing, dude, watching Jake Paul like actually be fucking terrified. You can tell Jake Paul thinks he deserves to live. AJ is a good example of what's wrong with mass immigration. First of all, he's an anti-white racist, as per his speech during BLM protests, where he called for blacks not to use white businesses. Secondly, he waves around a third world flag as if it's worthy of respect and represents him. My prediction, he will. First of all, he lived in Nigeria. Like it's perfectly valid for him to promote a country that he lived in, like his own personal background. Like he's Nigerian. He's of Nigerian descent. Why the fuck wouldn't he rep that? White people sometimes feel so jealous almost. Like I swear to God, when people get mad at stuff like this, it almost feels like you're just upset. You're just jelly that you don't have anything that you can like point to beyond, I don't know, jellied eels or some shit. Like, what is this fucking fragility? Third will fly, fucking out. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Anyway, my point is, woke is back. It's very obvious that woke is back, and these guys are hating it. These guys are hating that woke is back. Okay. Last night was a big hit. Remember, anti-woke was popping last year. What happened last year with Mike Tyson? A Maoist. That was a telltale sign that anti-woke was popping off. What's going on now is that woke is fucking back. You feel me? You understand? It's very clear. That is my takeaway, okay? That is my takeaway from this. Mike Tyson is a Maoist? Yeah, well, he's everything. Let's just move on from Mike Tyson's background as a champion of woke, because he's not. But I was trying to make the joke fit. I was trying to structure it in a way that it fucking makes sense. Shut up. Boy, AJ was cheesing better angle. Oh, this was, yeah. This is like, is this edited? Because it looks like a meme where he's like, wait till you find this one. Wait till you find what's coming next. Oh, this is edited. Okay, it's edited. Okay. AJ is Nigerian when he loses and British when he wins. I mean, that's usually the case with a lot of non-white, supremely talented athletes. They always do that in Europe. Some do it even when they win, though, to be fair. Like there's some the racism in Europe, European racism hits way different, bro. It's on a different playing field, honestly. I don't think it's edited. Oh no, he is laughing. It's not a joke. That smile is what crocodiles do before they chomp. Like, look, he is actually smiling. Like if you see in the video, like you see it. Look at his face. Mo Salah spoke out once against his manager, and the media started calling him Mohamed Salah. Yeah, that's all it takes usually. Oh, but it was great. It was great. It was fantastic. It was fun. It was fun watching all the fucking racist mauled.